One thing I want to add, Mark, that hasn't been touched up on yet, and this is what Josh Pate stated from the Late Kickoff Show, who does a phenomenal job, even 24/7 Sports, kind of, I guess you can say, endorsed his channel. He represents them now. Um, Linebacker play at Miami, that's going to be a big question, for this upcoming season. We do have Corey Flack, who I think is our, probably our best player returning, but we'll be fine in ACC conference play. But when you get to that elite Power 5 level, that's where I get worried. And I wouldn't be surprised if Manny Diaz gets aggressive and takes a linebacker from the transfer portal, kind of a late addition, because it really is going to help our team a lot. I think overall, we're starting to see a balanced Miami Hurricanes football team at a lot of positions. And I think linebacker unit, it's going to be missing this upcoming season. I think we're going to see average to above average play at most, just because of the personnel we had. Not trying to be a downer, but that's just the way I see it. They moved over Keontre Smith from striker to the inside linebacker position. I'm curious how he will play against with a big-bodied running back, especially in short yardage situations and goal line stands. I feel like he's a little bit undersized, needs to put on more weight, but he's very athletic. I think his skill set will match well at ACC conference level. But once again, you bring those big body running backs like we saw against North Carolina, Alabama, or Clemson. I don't know. I'm curious how we will pan out. But look out for Manny Diaz to hit the transfer portal. This is just my opinion, educated guess, but I would not be surprised if Manny Diaz does address that issue.
We're at a point in the season where in the past, you would have said, okay, spring practice is over. We saw the spring game. Sure, we can keep talking college football. But basically, in terms of news, we're not going to hear anything unless, unfortunately, somebody gets in trouble or somebody gets hurt. Those are the two things that we're going to hear about for the next couple months. But this season, a bit different. Number one is this transfer portal that doesn't stop. It just keeps going. And now that spring practice is over for just about everybody, we've got another pretty good list of teams that are going to play this Saturday, and then a few teams the first week of May, and then everybody's going to be done. There's going to be a lot of players sizing up where they stand after spring practice. They're going to get a better feel on, okay, I'm not quite as high in the depth chart than I thought I would be. I may want to move on here. So this transfer portal could kick in the next few weeks to the next month or so, number one. Number two is, of course, because of the dead period, there's not been as many athletes committing to schools for that 2022 class that we would have normally seen. Now, June 1st, the floodgates are going to be opened up. They're going to be taking visits. We see all these schools announcing big weekends of bringing in 10, 15, 30 players, Miami included. And then we're going to probably see in the weeks after that flow of players coming on campus, a lot of guys committing. So probably more news to talk about coming up here in June, July than we normally would have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the transfer portal, this is like such an interesting argument or just conversation, because, the transfer portal is taking away spots from a lot of high school recruits, and they have nowhere to go. A lot of these players, they want to sign to a Power 5 program. In the past, they would be able to, but since the transfer portal is the new free agency of college football, a lot of these players, fill in those needs at Power 5 programs, and then it's kind of it's I don't know what's the word for it, a little turmoil or a downfall for high school recruits to commit to Power 5 schools. Is there going to be availability at the G5 level? So you're going to see a lot of high school recruits who literally have nowhere to go for their college career. And NCAA has a lot at hand right now. And that new eligibility rule where they can transfer without sitting out, I thought that was very interesting. But it's going to be literally, free agency times 10 for the transfer portal. I think a lot of players are going to be jumping ship.
What also, if I'm working the math right in my head, is going to hurt the high school athlete coming out is that even though the transfer portal's in full throttle, and we've seen, I don't know what the number's at now, it was in the 400 or 500 range. It might be considerably higher than that. These guys are basically trading roster spots. So, of course, as a player leaves and goes to one program, he is filling a spot and taking a spot there, but he just left one open over here. So unless I'm missing something, that should keep the that should keep that particular number about even. But what's really going to affect this high school class is going to be that opportunity for all those players to stick around for another year and gain that extra year of eligibility that was given to them by COVID. And a lot of guys are taking advantage of that.
Right, exactly. And a lot of players, if you were a redshirt freshman, I think like you could have like technically you should have been a junior, but now you're still a redshirt freshman. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You're seeing players who, Zach McLeod's been here for what, 6 years or 7 years? I mean, it's an insane number. Like Scott Patchin was a former DN at Miami. He's at Colorado State, and I think he's been in college football for 7 years. Like he can probably get a PhD at this point. So, no, you're seeing a lot of players stay at programs for quite a while. So interesting times.